Shalom, Israel. Getting right into it. Um, I'm gonna call this. I think I'm gonna call this Tiffany Haddish remembers the Israelites or something like that. Um, Now, she runs. She's with Common right here when they were in a relationship. I don't think she's with him no more. And these guys. I don't know if they're still on highways and byways. They're not a part of GMS. I don't even think they're a part of IUIC. I mean, I know they're not because they don't have on purple. They're one of them subgroups, but they did express, that, the truth about the Israelites. They didn't talk about judgment or America's going to be destroyed. They didn't call. They didn't definitely didn't talk about the MOTB. But all these celebrities, like we say, they know about the Hebrew Israelites. The world knows about the Hebrew Israelites, and you know, Tiffany Haddish. I don't know if she meant to do that. She didn't mean. I don't think she did. She got the middle finger up on her left hand, but she does look sincere about knowing. And as far as what I can remember, because I don't want to play the video through. You could actually pop it up yourself. Common and Tiffany Haddish meet the Israelites. BLM March, Black Lives Matter March. And we don't entertain those events like that, Black Lives Matter and all those marches, those events and all that, unless the event is in the midst of us. And we rarely do that. We be like, shit, let's pack it up and go somewhere else, whatever. The spirits, go wherever the spirit goes. But she definitely, just like a lot of celebrities, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Fantasia and DMX before he passed. A lot of these celebrities, Kendrick Lamar, everybody knows, the world knows, and we always say that. But she, in her mind, they left, and they didn't go hard on them. They just told them that they're Israelites, and they told them, I think they said, you got to turn back to the Most High. It wasn't like, they didn't express it like it was urgent, like you're going to be destroyed, and if you keep following this Hollywood trend of life, you're going to be destroyed. They didn't express it like that, as far as I remember. But any case, this is comedian Dion Cole, probably familiar with him. She was on his show, like, what is this, 5 months ago, and right here she's saying, and this is fair use, no monetary gain, no money. She says she mentions the apocalypse, and about basically, because they're talking about food, and they're talking about, she has to teach him how to cook and all that, and basically prepare, for the apocalypse, because he said he really didn't know how to prepare food, on some basic levels. So she's responding to that, and she mentioned the apocalypse. Now this is always in their mind, because once something's in your mind, it's in your mind, man, and especially if it's serious or you're really concerned. Some things you can only hear once and you remember for the rest of your life. It depends on how it's conveyed, how it's expressed, how it's handed over to you. And like the celebrities, they know, and rappers know the I think a lot of these battle rappers, on the street, or that came under the wings of Diddy that set it up. They know. The whole world knows. I might even call it that. Not even Tiffany Haddish, but the whole world knows, and then I might say Tiffany Haddish. But we use the world, not abuse it. You know, we could play games too. We could clickbait. I mean, what do you call clickbait too, man? But anyway, here's her expressing about the apocalypse, and really it gets down to where she's expressing Jacob's trouble. But anyway, let's see what she says. Turn it up a little bit. I should. Hopefully, you can hear it.
She's right. You know what? Maybe I come by and teach you how to make 3 basic meals.
That'd be cool.
Foster kids.
That'd be cool. What I can make is reservations. Like, you should taste them.
We're going to prepare you for the apocalypse. I'm going to be a real sister. I'm going to be a real friend to you.
See, because it ain't going to be nobody you can really trust. So it's going to be real small circles or real small trust companions, you know?
You got to make some basic stuff that don't just come instant, you know, that you can, so you can thrive.
Yeah, because...
Yes, she said so you could thrive.
I order Uber Eats every day.
Because it's, and we talk about that, the survival of the fittest, a lot of times. And let me look up that word apocalypse right quick. I knew I was gonna, okay. Apocalypse comes from the ancient Greek apokalypsis. Hopefully I'm saying it right. To uncover or reveal. Today the word is most commonly used to describe a catastrophic world-ending event. So she has that in mind, even though she's still in Hollywood, even though she's still a comedian. I don't know how deep she is into the game of the Illuminati, because the Illuminati got, you know, some celebrities, they deal with the Illuminati closer than others, you know. Some of them from a distance, but they still, you know, just like Cat Williams, they just, you know, stay out the way and do what you gotta do, and, you know, he reports and, you know, keep him off his back. Some are more involved, hands down, like Oprah and Jay-Z, and you know, those type of figures. It says, or a disaster so extreme it feels like the end of the world, man. Derived from the Greek roots apa, which is a way, kaleptine, to cover. Translates to lifting up the veil or unveiling, meaning, you know, people showing their true feelings, people, you know, really, like, the world really shown for what it really is instead of what people think it is, or what it is instead of what it looks like. You know, people might have friends, just like that Nolan Wells case. He thought they were his friends. People, and they showed their true colors. So, you know, that showed you in that movie, Leave the World Behind. When, I forget, I can't think of who. Was it, I know one of them was Kevin Bacon. And I think the dude I can't think of, he was trying to ask him for help. And Kevin Bacon was standing on the porch with a shotgun like, nah, I can't help y'all. And this is somebody he'd been knowing for years, that he was asking, that was asking him for help. Who played in that movie? It just slipped my mind altogether, because I wanted to just remember this, or what I'm talking about regarding Tiffany Haddish, other celebrities and all that. But yeah, you know, and it's a such thing as plague of the mind. So a lot of these all these celebrities have to do is it says plague of the heart, but it means mind. All all these celebrities have to do is hear the truth one time, and it's in their minds. And they're gonna be thinking about it, especially if you're telling them like the world is ending, you got to get right with the Most High. He's gonna destroy you, and then they see the world is actually ending. They see the Third World War approaching. They see all this stuff going down, racial tension, and all that. So I could easily remind them of when they heard the truth. Easily remind them of, so they'd be like, they'll mention it. And she's a comedian, but these comedians, that's one thing about comedians, and that's why I watch them a lot of times, because they do talk about real issues, and they hit in it's kind of the comedic label kind of it helps them with a lot of their material, because the real harsh issues that they express, dealing with where they came from, or these events, or anything that happened that's serious, they can kind of sugarcoat it with laughter. And it doesn't say it's a sin in the Bible, but still you're gonna have to talk about and warn the people about what's coming, because if you don't, the blood is gonna be upon you. And it doesn't really specify what magnitude of what's going to happen to you if you don't, but that's enough. What did it say? Plague. Let me get plague. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Give me any plague, Sirach 25 and 13 in Apocrypha. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. So a plague in your mind, like you're being plagued, like, and you could, like we said, at any time they could be having nightmares and certain dreams that they got to figure out, or they're concerned about. It also talks about it's better that you didn't hear the word. To not have known. It says, 2 Peter 2 and 21, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness. Because righteousness is not only set in the degree of just, not doing something wrong. Because you could do wrong and still be a righteous person. It just depends on your actions about and your consciousness about what you're doing. But, the way of righteousness is really the truth. Is it says knowing the truth right here, the idea that knowing the truth and actively rejecting. So, you can say, well, restrain from one thing and say, yeah, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do eat swine. Well, you're sinning. So you can't say, well, Most High could balance that out, and he could, as long as, I can't, I just, that's the way I eat, you know what I'm saying? But I did stop smoking. And then, you can't play with the Most High like that. So you be like, well, how we know, they have developed rights, they went their own righteousness. And then they might think they're cool because they might say, well, you know, I'm a celebrity and I'm an actor or actress, and I don't get into that Illuminati stuff. I don't, you know, but they still sleep around, or you know, they still like they're not, especially on the highways and byways, and not warning the people, and you know, they don't even live their life according to the scriptures. Because she even said in this interview, she said how many men she slept with, like it was nothing. You know, she says she slept with about 3 men out of the 6 that she had met recently. So, you know, she don't have no discretion about who she's been sexually involved with. And I don't know how she think of it, because she know the truth. So, you know, it should pop up in the head like, nah, you know, because you know the Israelites teach that if you get another man, laying down with another man is adultery. But see, some Israelites are not, the same sins that should be what do you call it, urgent, or more heavy or serious. Those are ones that pacify. You know, like adultery, idolatry. It says the rebellion is the sin of witchcraft. What does it say about witches? They shall burn, they shall die. So, you know, for them to kind of try to carve their own way of how they think about the truth and how they receive it is not according to how the Most High has it, and according to true prophets out there. You know, because when they walked away, if you see that video, when they walked away, it didn't seem like they was convicted in their spirit. Like, damn, we got to get right. They wasn't wowed at what they were hearing, like, oh shit, I didn't know that. So, and they might have heard the truth before by another group. So they, you know, but in any case, they know the truth. It's in their minds. So, you know, it can easily plague them. And it might not, you know, stop them what they're doing to where they like scared to do anything, but it's definitely there. And it's going to be there more and more as the time goes on, as the world gets worse. It says, for it had been for them better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they had known it to turn from the holy commandment. And it says, put not off day by day. Let me get that scripture. So, and you know, they have a certain pride that comes with their fame and with them being celebrity, you know, and that's what's gonna hurt them most, their pride. Because they be like, well, she could easily be like, well, yeah, you know, I'm Tiffany Haddish, you know. It's almost like rolling down the street and cop pull you over and he about to give you, yelling to give you a ticket. Oh, wait a minute, I know you. Oh, you're Tiffany Haddish. Well, you know, I'm not gonna give you a ticket, but you know, just make sure you drive. Make sure, you know, you pay attention to the roads and all that, and better, can I have your autograph and have a good day, whatever. Then they be like, you know, it makes them feel like, hey, I can get out of trouble, you know, because I'm a celebrity. And they might even tie that into on a certain level of their spirit with the truth, you know, because these celebrities they, as much as their fans love them and they lift them up, they are subject to the ideal of them being so important that they can bypass a lot of stuff. No, the Most High has to be the one that approve or wink at you, not you. But it says, Sirach 5:7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance, man. So, just know that in the minds of the world, in the minds of the people, even though they don't mention it or talk about it or say it daily, or when they doing an interview, they don't mention the Israelites, they don't mention the truth, it's still in their minds because they still know. And as long as it's in their minds, they can be plagued. And not only that, because they be easily judged for what they know. Because it says the man that knows the way of his Lord is going to be beat with many stripes, opposed to the one that doesn't, which is going to be beat with few stripes. So they're going to start to be held accountable. And she says she's going to be his friend in the time of the apocalypse, whatever, when that shit goes down. She might have been real about it. She's, they in the comedian world and even in the celebrity world, they are, so to speak, brothers and sisters. And she called him a brother on that interview. And like vice versa, I'm pretty sure, he thinks the same about her. But, and she might say, yeah, but she might not even be around. They might be in different states when this shit go down. She might, he might get, whatever the judgment that's coming might lean on one of them and the other one is not able to help. So, you can't help somebody out of a judgment that the Most High gives. It said, let judgment run down like the waters. So, and I know it's probably, she means well. But I mean, if you want to be truthful, she said, well, nah, brother, you got to get your shit straight. I might not even be able to see you in that day. Not even cook for you. I might be on the other side of the world. And plus, I'm a woman. She should have said that, because women are going to get it worse, man, when this shit goes down. Best believe. They're going to get it worse. And a lot of women are independent. And before they make a choice, a lot of women, before they make a choice or what have you to get with a man for support and strength, it's going to be too late. Because they think they can ride it out a little bit longer. But, that day is going to creep up and it's going to hit when least expected. So, and it doesn't bother us. And we know the plague of the mind is a mother sucker because, it doesn't only apply to this situation with a woman. It applies to men. It applies to, it could apply to false prophets. It could apply to presidents and princes of the earth and rulers of the earth. Most High he could put a plague on you no matter where you are, who you are. Because all that celebrity and having fun and drinking champagne, waking up in the morning, carelessly living your life, even some riotous, even, carelessly sleeping around. When Jacob's trouble come and events happen, when the chaos come, it's going to be too late and it's going to be horrific. But in the meanwhile, in the plague of the mind, it doesn't even move you to get closer to the Most High. That's detrimental even to your health and your mental health and your spiritual health. Anyway, hopefully it's edifying to the next video. Shalom.